He sat up slowly, wincing at the sharp pain that lanced through his head. A faint thrum echoed in his ears like a distant heartbeat. He glanced down at his hands. They were calloused, with faint scars tracing his knuckles. Something about them felt familiar, but he couldn't say why. His mind was a blank slate. He couldn't remember how he got here. He couldn't remember why he was here. Worse yet, he couldn't even remember his own name. His eyes darted around the room, taking in every detail. A rickety table sat in one corner, holding a cracked mirror. Next to it, a small bedside table held a photograph of a woman he didn't recognize. Her dark eyes seemed to pierce through the haze in his mind, stirring something he couldn't quite grasp. Beside the photograph was a silver object. He picked it up and turned it over in his hands. It was a stake, silver, with faint engravings along its length. His pulse quickened as he held it. The weight felt right, as though it belonged to him. But why? Then he saw the note. It was scrawled in handwriting that he somehow knew was his own. Trust no one. They're watching. Find the cathedral. A chill ran down his spine. Before he could process the words, a loud knock reverberated through the door. His head snapped toward it, his grip tightening around the stake. The knock came again, sharper this time.
Mr. Heller, we know you're in there. Open up.
A gruff voice called. He stepped into the shadows of the room, pressing his back against the wall beside the door. He held his breath, his mind racing. Something deep inside told him to be ready to fight. The lock clicked. The door creaked open, and two figures entered cautiously. They moved with an eerie grace, their movements too smooth to be entirely human. The faint glow of yellow eyes caught the dim light, and Lucian's stomach turned. He knew what they were, even if he didn't know how. Vampires. One of them sniffed the air, his elongated nostrils flaring.
He's here!
He acted on instinct. As the first figure turned toward him, he thrust the silver stake forward with a precision that surprised even him. The vampire let out a guttural scream as the stake pierced its chest, and in an instant, it disintegrated into ash. The second figure lunged at him, claws extended. He sidestepped, his body moving with a speed and fluidity that felt both foreign and innate. He pivoted, bringing the stake down in a swift arc, driving it into the creature's heart. The vampire let out one last screech before collapsing into dust. He stumbled back, his chest heaving. His mind reeled. What had just happened? How had he known what to do? The room was silent now, save for the faint sound of his own breathing. He glanced down at the stake, now smeared with black ichor. His hands trembled, but he didn't let go. He turned back to the bedside table. The photograph of the woman stared back at him, and the note on the table burned in his mind. Trust no one. They're watching. Find the cathedral. He didn't know who he was. He didn't know where he was. But now he had a purpose. Find the cathedral. Whatever answers he sought, they would be there. For more dark lore tales, like and subscribe. Be the first to know when they emerge from the shadows.